Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. I want to welcome you to Shortcuts for Your Soul. And it's going to be a really interesting day because today is about the coming times. They told me that this is not about prophecy or anything. This is going to be factual realities that exist as a result of human emotional interconnectedness to everything else, which is very fascinating to me because we have a connection to, a relationship with all else. And for people that believe that they're just separate individuals in time and space, that's a very hard thing to consider. If I think I'm separate from everything else, then the idea that I could affect change in the world around me is reversed. So I think that things that are happening around me will happen to me. I don't realize I have a role in these things, a play in how these things affect me physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. But that's what the coming times are about. This is what this whole ascension process is, the recognition of our unity with all other things and how we interplay with them. And we're going to get into that a little bit more. I'm just going to check a few things out here. Good morning, Lauren. How are you today? Let's see here. We're going over here. Bring you down. Bring that over. I'm just getting a few things set up here so I can read your questions properly. Wonderful. Fresh, squeezed orange juice. It's actually macerated orange juice. You get more out of live food when you macerate it. You get more of the living vital nutrients that you need out of it. Very fascinating. There we go. Okay. Hi, Patricia. Hello, Robin. Hi. So yes, today is about the coming times. And please do not misconstrue the idea that this is the coming times with the concept of prophecy. They're saying what you call prophecy is merely the simple understanding of the causal relationship between human and their relationships with all other things and the emotional effects of energy between humans and the dynamic world around them. For you live in a dynamic energy. You do not live in a static energy. And many of you have not realized the relationship between your world around you as an emotional relationship. You recognize it merely as causal to you and it, or it to you, but you have not recognized the relationship that you bear on it, that you have a direct relationship in how it will respond to you, as it has a relationship in how you will respond to it. And so far, we do not see you doing very well in terms of how you are responding to it, but you keep expecting it to respond to you with the grace and love that you so rightly think you deserve, when in fact the way you are acting does not seem to warrant that. These earth changes, these actual earth changes that are unfolding right now, the changes in what you call your sun, the changes in the planetary weather patterns, you have not quite figured out that you have a role in this. And we're not speaking about the processes of geoengineering that are undergoing, that you humans are trying to undertake to change and control and manipulate matter to bend it to your will. But you have to realize that what you are calling matter is a living sentient consciousness, as are you. If you understand this, you would not be doing this. You would formulate a much better relationship in terms of feeling with the world around you. For it is the emotional energy that you exchange between environment and self that affects the changes in an environment. There are the natural organic changes that your physical world goes through, much the same way as your physical body does from the time it is born to the time it dies. There are natural organic changes. And this is true for all organized structures in the material realm. But even these you can adapt to and grow with. And when you understand the conceptions and ideas that death do not exist, you will find yourself enjoying life significantly more. But first you must establish a relationship between yourself and the world around you that is based more fundamentally in love than in the limiting beliefs of fear, which will give you nothing but suffering, as you can see. Yes. The ascension process, they tell me that what we are going through, this ascension, where so many of us are waking up and realizing, wait, I want to love the world. I want to be in a state of love and grace. That's ultimately what the ascension boils down to, being in a state of love and grace and moving our attention and awareness to a level of, they don't like using that word level, to a positioning in awareness that you are not separate from all things. From that positioning of awareness, from there you will begin to dance with the world in a very pleasant way, as opposed to the way you're observing right now. There will be more changes coming physiologically if you do not change the emotional relationship you have with this planet and all of the people in it. Wow. So yeah, the coming times, we have a greater role in what's happening. And what they're laughing about is they say so many of your scientists and so many of your government organizations are seeking to find ways to control the evolution of the planet through mechanical means, through physical means against physical means, rather than trying to find a way of building a relationship with the consciousness of the earth. But that would, she's saying that would require that we surrender our desire to control everything and move into a position of working in order and harmony with everything from a perspective of feeling and emotion, as opposed to a perspective of control. You cannot continue to change the world around you, specifically from matter against matter, for it is the underlying consciousness that gives life to matter in all of its forms that needs to be interrelated with through the human perspective. This is happening through many of you right now in terms of your awareness of recognizing the unity factor, of recognizing the unbroken connectivity in consciousness between all things. It is this recognition that is allowing a level of stability to be maintained in the geological and environmental conditions of your planet. As that continues to grow, so too will the stability become more apparent. Yes. So the reality is, like, we are, it doesn't matter what you look at. They call them electrons for a reason. Microscopic particles called electrons because they're electrical in nature. They're moving through a conductive consciousness. Consciousness is electrical. And so the basic building block of matter, like the electron, is moving through consciousness, and it creates electrical charge. When these build up into larger organisms like bodies and minds, when they build up into the size of planets or stars or galaxies or universes, the potential process is exactly the same. It's just a macrocosm of microcosm. So we are electrical beings, as is everything around us, electrical in nature, and it interacts and interplays and exchanges. Every time you take a breath, you're interacting with the electrical potential around you called oxygen, but it is still an electrical potential, right? Nikola Tesla knew this 100 some odd years, and 100 some odd years ago, he knew of the electrical interconnectivity of all things, and he utilized that awareness of that knowledge to develop things like the radio controlled boat. He understood how to change one electrical potential and bring it down into another electrical potential, how to transform and transmute matter and energy from one state to another, which we're learning to do. But what they're telling us today is it's really important we understand what we feel and think and emote is generating an electrical relationship. So getting to this place where we awaken to a vibrational energy called love creates a different effect in time, space, and matter than the vibrational energy of fear, the electrical energy of fear versus the electrical energy of love, right? They produce very different changes in time, space, and matter that don't resonate with each other. They're very different, although they're the same at a fundamental core. They diverse as matter and consciousness spread out into different expressions of itself. The difference in electrical potential from one to the other changes. So we perceive things as different because the electrical construction of that form is different than the electrical construction of a form. So a bird or a bee or a human are an electrical potential that's been constructed to be in that function, in that form, working that way through matter. Like bees, as you know, go through the air very quickly, and we don't move as fast as a bee. So if you look at life from the perspective of an electrical energy, a dynamic electrical system, then you begin to understand that fear as an electrical potential and love as an electrical potential organizes matter differently. And these two potentials right now are very high on the planet. They're getting very strong, and we can see the polarity of things happening, good and bad, right and wrong, up and down, the political chaos. All of these things are different electrical plays, different electrical potentials playing out. Now, remember, because it's an electrical potential, it can still be harnessed and utilized to create something amazing. Just as when they first discovered electricity, and they could take that electricity, which, from a bolt of lightning's perspective, if you got hit by a bolt of lightning, it'd be very detrimental to your physical health, it could even destroy trees. But they found a way to harness it and turn it into light. And now we have it as computers and jet planes. We were able to take that electrical potential and convert it into something beneficial and useful for humanity. The same thing is true now. As we move into our future, learning to harness the electrical potential of consciousness now, the deliberate interconnection with the very movement of that energy. Star Wars, and they use the term the Force, is very similar concept to that. Oh, wait a second. Did I take my muting off? Yeah, I did. So that process of electrical potential, this is what Ascension is about, realizing a higher electrical potential, Ascension, moving dimensionally to a state of being that is significantly more harmonious than the one we've been experiencing for the last 12,000 years of the evolution of this society, which had its inception 12,000 years ago to become what it is today. And there were others prior to that had their rise and their fall, their attempt to reach that apex of consciousness and to transcend material consciousness in a very different way. So these coming times are going to be based exclusively on our ability to harness electrical consciousness in a very different way in the form of love versus fear. And from that, they've also been telling me it's really important that all of the things that do come up that bring our fear to the surface, that make us conscious, these things, these energies must be released. We must not get attached to fear. At the same time, you must be mindful that you are able to identify what is the difference between fear and love and choose that which is love. They're saying you can do this in all things, in all events, in all circumstances. So I'm going to scroll up. Good morning, everybody. Let's see. Questions. Lauren, Victorious, Miriam, scrolling down to see if we've got any questions here. So the coming times, this is fascinating to me, that the coming times are based in this concept of energy, emotion, electrical sensation, emotion, fear, and love. They're different electrical potentials. And our ability, this ascension process, is harnessing and connecting to it and aligning ourselves to this vibrational frequency of love, which is a different dimension than the vibration of fear. The vibration of fear is a different dimension than the vibration of love. And yes, they're telling me also that there are dimensions of energy that are higher than love even, and there are dimensions of energy that are lower than fear even. And you are here now. You are here where we are now, beginning to conceive of, give life to, incorporate into our being, incorporate into our connection with all other things, this vibrational frequency of love. It's really cool. I love it. Question from Terry: is a new job on the horizon for me? Will getting my health benefits reinstated be a smooth transition? Yes. Well, release the fear, Terry. Once you remember, fear and love are different electrical potentials. They create very different effects. You can even watch it in an animal that's afraid, versus an animal that's excited. Animals are really great benchmarks for of seeing how fear is and what love is. So you look at a dog or a cat, you scream at a dog or a cat, they'll react a certain way. You jump at a bird, it'll fly away. Versus, you hold out a bit of food, a bird will fly in your hand. So release yourself, release your attention, release your energy from that attachment to that fearfulness, and connect to a vibration of love. Or how would you already feel if you already had your job and things were reinstated smoothly? How would that feel right now if that were already done? And be aligned to that feeling and that feeling alone, and you'll find that that's inevitably what will happen. Let's see. Nicole, any messages for me from my spirit guides? Something about something coming down, allowing the light to come down, allowing the light to come down. You have brought yourself up. Now allow the light to come down through you. Interesting. That's a good question, Nicole. Manoj is asking, please ask the angels if they have any advice for me about my diet. Well, I can give you some personal advice. Get into living, live, vibrant food, stuff that is living. And make certain you can use, there's legumes. If you need protein, you want to eat lots of legumes for protein. Get your protein from other sources other than meat. Yes. So, Janine is asking, do you believe in listening to frequencies? I keep hearing channelers say a 4,100 hertz. What do you think? This is a great question, Janine, and I asked that of them actually a while back. You can actually sit, and I think this actually came through one of the meditations in our courses from last year. The idea that you could make a sound with your body, like the scales, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, that you could use those scales and find the note in the scale that lifts your energy up. Or you can make different sounds with your bodies. You can use the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and find out what note, what sound aligns your energy, lifts your energy up. I mean, in mantras, when they use mantras in Middle Eastern teachings, Om, Om Mani Padme, Om, and other things like that, they're using sound to align your awareness to another frequency of consciousness. So yeah, make sounds, go around for an hour or so, making different sounds with your voice, and find a sound that feels aligned for you. You can feel your energy will align. For me, Om really aligns the energy up. I can immediately feel it align from the bottom to the top, and I can feel this energy start expanding outward. So find a note that makes your energy align, like you feel uplifted. And there's lots. So there's not just one note. And you can use a tone generator if you like. You can download a free tone generator from the Play Store, Google Play Store, and download a free tone generator. And you can go through the different tones from 1 hertz all the way up to 5,000 hertz, and find the tone in there that allows you in your body to feel an alignment, an expansion of energy. Because an energy, if it's right and in alignment with you, will expand you. It won't contract you, right? Lauren is asking, may I have some advice from my angels and spirit guides? The word get out, I don't know why they're saying this, but they're not meaning like get out. They mean get out somewhere. You need to go out in air. You need to go out in the air. You need to break out of the space you're in. Stop being stuck in the space. Get out. Cool. Blaine is asking, how long does it take for matter or the world around me to adjust to my state of emotion? Blaine, that is an amazing question. And I've asked that question, and the answer they give me is really simple, and I love it. The moment you begin to change an emotional energy inside you, the moment you begin that process, it already starts around you. It might not become obvious to your senses immediately, because when you begin to organize emotional energy, when you move into a state of love, and you move into a state of grace or excitement or playfulness or prosperity or of intimacy or of excitement, once you begin to generate that emotional charge inside you, it immediately begins to organize energy around you at a subatomic level. So like quarks and muons and microcosmic particles of energy relative to the electron immediately begin to organize, just like you can see my hand is organized to movement. But that's been established. I've established in energy that can happen very easily. So there's a time process. The greater the intensity of your emotion, the shorter the time frame for the outcome. So you want to get into a highly charged state of, like, say, prosperity. How would you feel if you're extremely wealthy? To be able to stay in that energy and not be caught up in, has it happened yet? Has it happened yet? Has it happened yet? If you're doing that, you're actually shutting it down. Just stay in the energy. Allow it to organize the event for you. Stop trying to be in control. That's what a lot of people run into. And that's why there are things like The Secret and that stuff have not worked. People are trying to connect to this emotional energy, and they open their eyes. Has it happened yet? No. You want to stay in the emotional energy so deeply and intensely that you don't look for it out there. You just stay in the energy, and it will organize the event for you. And it will become obvious to you because it'll happen. Do not get concerned about how long or when. Stay connected to the emotion that represents the condition that you wish to see expressed or experienced in your material world. Humanity as a collective whole is doing that right now. And there's some things happening on the planet that are both good and bad, that are results of our emotional collective energy, right? And the Ascension is about bringing that a higher frequency, bring that up to a higher frequency from fear to love. It's so important to understand this piece. If you understand that and stop trying to look for it. I meditated for 20 minutes on being wealthy, and now I'm going to look for wealth. No, stay in that feeling and go about your day. But don't be looking like this, trying to find it, or let it show up. I promise you it'll show up if you can stay in the energy. Just stay in the energy. Let the energy do it for you. Master Jesus tells me very clearly, he says, before you even know it, my Father has knowledge that you have asked for these things. That, in other words, the energy is organizing it in front of you. You don't have to worry about what's going to happen. It's organizing it on your behalf, right? He calls Spirit the Father, right? Don't try to be like the power. Let the power work on your behalf. Let the Creator do it for you, and it will, right? Great question, Blaine. Thank you so much. That probably is the ultimate question for humanity as a whole to consider. That it is our overall emotional state collectively. So if you're going over to another country and blowing people up and killing them and causing fear and suffering and pain in the name of doing what's right to protect us, well, you're actually creating an emotional energy that's going to create more destruction and harm from that energy. And so you actually create a net zero result. That's why wars never result in anything really productive happening in human consciousness. Yeah, technologically, but from the perspective of human unity and human love and human growth and evolution as a collective community has been inhibited by not understanding that principle. That if you cultivate a vibration of love, you will experience an experience of love. If you cultivate a vibration of fear, you'll experience a vibration of fear in matter, time, and space. Right? So important to understand. Oh, hi, Bogmila. Thank you for that. Does my guardian angel Athena have a message for me, please? Wow. Just be strong. Be very strong. Do not let them pull you back. Do not get pulled back. For you are going where they cannot. She's saying also there's a threshold that you will cross. There's a threshold that you will cross, that you will see the world that you have known was there but have not seen yet. Keep going. Great. Wonderful. Robin is asking, thank you for that $5, Robin. Was my dream an attempt to try to manipulate me? It felt evil. I demanded for them to leave in the name of Jesus. Was my dream an attempt to try to manipulate me? Wow. Hang on a second there, because this is a little intense. Do not make misperceptions. If you understand who you are as the being that you are, you also have the capability to take that which appears to be evil and transform it into that which would be good. Your ability to change existing conditions in your life from one state into another, and this would include on an emotional plane of consciousness. For what comes into your awareness is yours. To be able to transform or transmute these energies from one state to another is the point of personal liberation and freedom. That there is nothing greater than your ability to create and change the conditions of your world. Can I paraphrase that? Okay, so I'm hearing that. So if you're aware of the energy of the dream and something feels evil in it or frightful in it, coming to the position where you can actually align yourself to a vibration of love and transmute it. And we'll go back to the old glass of water analogy. I put this glass of water in my freezer. It has no choice but to freeze. The water doesn't have to do anything. So consider the water as being the evil, comes into my presence. And I use a vibration called love, and I stay fixated on that frequency, that vibration of love, and I put it at the water. It doesn't matter what the water thinks it is or what it is, it will be transformed by the energy. Remember that, it'll be transformed by the energy of the vibration you can generate. The problem a lot of people have when they go into a dream state is they believe that they've been taught to believe that their dream state is separate from who they are. But in effect, in the dream state, you're moving into your collective unconscious, and you have the opportunity to change not only that in your own personal life, but that in the collective consciousness of humanity. And right now, there's a lot of things in your human realm that tend to be, in appearance at least, evil. But if you can move into a state of vibrational state of love and fill that energy with that vibration, you will transmute it. You want to learn to transmute it. Thank you. Great question. Lydia is asking, I feel all discombobulated at the moment. What's causing this, please? First thing they're saying, they're sending me a picture of a child crawling across a carpet, trying to figure out everything around it, but it's not sure at the same time. So why that symbol? So they're saying this one needs to understand that the feeling is not that which is out of their control, but is within their control. There are many of you that still have the illusion that your emotions are somehow separate from you and therefore being imposed upon you. This is nothing could be further from the truth, when in fact your emotions are the very essence of energy that you utilize to create your experiences and your conditions. So that energy that you call discombobulated is for you to repurpose, so to speak. Move into your state of love or grace as you understand it. And embrace that discombobulated energy with that love and grace. You must gain the proper experience in your knowledge that you are a transformer of energy and conditions and not subjective to them. Humanity as a collective whole must do this as well, or subject itself to, again, the experience of feeling like the environment is being imposed upon them. Cool. Great question. Thank you. Lydia. Yes, that's correct, Terry. Question from Kathy. I help others heal their body through cranial sacral therapy and massage in my job. Do I expose myself to picking up on their emotions? If so, is there a certain way to detach those emotions? It's funny you say that. We've heard that many times. If you got a big fire, I'm getting this image of a fire pit. There's a fire pit, and you take a glass of water on this fire pit that's burning, a big bonfire burning, and you throw that water on the fire. The fire literally will instantly turn that water to steam, unless there's more water than the fire. In your case, as the healer, they're saying that your energy is so high that you literally are transmuting and transforming those energies. They're saying you can take those energies on if you want. If you want to think there's something wrong with them, then you will take that on. But we would recommend that you stay in the position that you are the transformer and the healer of these conditions. You'll be far more effective with that knowledge than you are with the uncertainty of whether or not you will take it on. You are releasing and transforming. You are not absorbing. You are releasing and transforming. You must be clear on that mindset so that the process works exactly the way you intended it to, which is why you chose to do that form of healing in the first place, because you are a transformer. Wow. Kate is asking, oh no, that's not Kate, that's somebody else. Let's scroll up here. Shane is asking, I am in the energy of manifesting abundance in my life, a new home, a more joyful life. I am so grateful to now feel it truly. Any message for me about moving forward in my life? They're laughing. They're saying, we don't understand why you would ask that question when you appear to be doing the very thing you are doing. Or you are moving forward in your life. You are clear about your energy. You must remain in that. Again, we had said earlier, do not try to look for the results. They will unfold. If you try to look for the results, then you engage in trying to control them. But you are asking the great spirit within you to carry out this command for you. Allow it. The process of allowing is knowing you've set this in motion, that you do not have to question the very process. You must merely stay engaged in the knowing, the feeling, the energy of that, the emotion that is in alignment with that outcome. Do not get caught up in trying to figure it all out, for you know what you've created. Trust that. Trust in the energy of it. And when you find yourself trying to look for it out there, go back to the energy of it and hear that certainty of the emotion that represents that condition. And that will be your light. Follow that light, and it will show up around you. You will not have to try so hard to see it. Wow, great questions, guys. Where are we doing time-wise here? Perfect. It's funny, that this arc that we've come on together over the last, I think, 6 or 7 weeks of doing shortcuts for the soul. When they first asked me to do this, and they said, you only have to do it for 15, 20 minutes a day. And then we went up to an hour a day, and it went on like that for a number of weeks. And now we're seeing it go back down. It's very fascinating. And they're saying what's important is that the message get out. Please remember to share it. Like right now, why don't you share this video with somebody? Like bring somebody into the link. Bring more people into this message. You have to understand that human collective unconsciousness is what needs to be impacted more than our individual consciousness. You here as individuals right now are here because you are awake and aware enough to know that you have a role in changing collective unconsciousness. Therefore, altering and changing the direction of human collective unconsciousness as a whole. And the more people we awaken to the reality that we are a collective consciousness that can work either consciously or unconsciously, and we're doing both right now, that the goal here is to become collectively aware that we can unconsciously create what we really want instead of what we're creating automatically from our past memories as a species. Because we have a history as a species. We have histories as individual cultures, whether that be Hindu culture or American culture or Chinese culture, native culture. Our cultures have a history behind them, and those histories have an influence over what we're creating if we're unconscious to how we've experienced those histories. From the perspective of a unified collective unconsciousness driven by a vibrational motion of love, we'll create a very different future for ourselves as a species than the collective unconsciousness vibrations of fear that we've carried forward from our suffering, right? We literally have to learn to let go of our suffering collectively as one. And then we have to take actions that support and sustain the love in ourselves and in each other. So share this information, get this information out, because the more people that get on board with the understanding that love really is a vibration that you can build in your heart that will create conditions and affect the environment around us. Even the oceans and the skies. Master Jesus said this. Do you not know you can say to the mountain, move thee hence, and it shall move hence. It's a profound truth that as when you are in complete alignment with source energy, we as a species can influence this whole planet, and we are. We're just doing it unconsciously for the most part, which is why the oceans are filled with garbage and pollutions in the air. We're beginning to make that shift now, and we're starting to realize, whoa, we got to make a change. But the change can't just happen on the physical plane of picking up the garbage. The change has to happen on the inner plane where we are all joined as one, as a collective consciousness, manifesting as individual expressions of that collective. And that's where the real change has to happen internally. And then we'll see the external things start to unfold as we are seeing people developing technologies to clean the oceans, young people developing technology to go out and clean up all the garbage from the oceans. And so it is our hope that those that do have ears to hear and eyes to see will absorb this information and put it into use and realize that it is within that we must go within to organize that which is without. But wow, what an arc we've been on together. Mara's asking, can our pets take on our emotions? Absolutely, yes. They said that immediately. You don't even have to read the rest of that question. Yes. Animals, you have to understand the animal kingdom is subjective consciousness here. They have surrendered themselves to the process of organically, naturally being. They simply receive from the world around them. They don't question. They just accept. And in the realm of interaction between humans and animals, this is even greater a truth. The emotional qualities, the ways you think and feel and regard these creatures, they emotionally take on that energy and they play them out. So if you have a dog or a cat, then the emotion that you're in, they take that on. They receive it. They don't question it. They do not have the faculty that you have, this process of inductive reasoning, where you can examine. They cannot do this. They just receive. As they had before humans came, they received. That's the way they came as animals, to receive and experience their being as receiving. So they can receive the love from you, and they can receive the fear from you. They can receive the guilt from you. They can receive the shame from you. And thereby certain conditions that represent the overall dominant emotions that they've been imparted with. It's why you can change the behavior of an animal from its natural way to a different way. Why you can take an animal from the wild and change it so it will do tricks and things for you, because it will only respond to what is received by it, physically and mentally. It's what it does. Brilliant question. Really simple. As for the heart condition of the dog, they're saying, please understand there are other things that occur in nature too that are beyond your control, and you must understand that. Realize that in truth, the only thing that you really have control over is your ability to be in alignment to a certain state of being. Yes, you can correct these things though. If you wish to make changes in the dog's physiology, please get an image of that dog's heart whole and complete, and align yourself repeatedly to the emotional energy of that completeness. You will see changes in the dog's behavior, or the cat's behavior, or the elephant's behavior, simply by the emotional conditions that you put towards it. But a lot of you see a problem and try to fix it from the perspective of fear, and then what you fear comes upon you, and you think you tried your best, but it was the very nature of the emotion that created and supported the condition. But all physical form goes through a transition of birth, life, and death. And that is something that all of you, even in the bodies you exist in as individuals, will go through as well. So do not confuse the natural process with the process of your intervention with these animals. But you have literally billions of animals right now that have taken on the suffering of humanity. You merely have to go to these places and see how they are treated. And you will understand that these animals have taken on your suffering, your hunger, so to speak, because you do not believe you can be satisfied. So many of you. Wow. I understand. Thank you. Wow. That's moving. Okay. Question from Miriam. Any message from my guides regarding leaving a city to a small town? I just get this big sigh, Miriam, just like this. That's what you're going to feel, a big relief from that perspective of energy for you. Cool. And Reflection is asking, is there any scientific evidence of books I can look at which supports the idea that our emotions transform our reality? Thank you, Kate. Yes, if you want to look at one of the modern experts on it would be Dr. Bruce Lipton, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Greg Braden, Dr. Bob Beck from Montreal. There are others too. Emotion is energy in motion. It's the fifth state of energy. There is no behavior in the human realm that does not have an emotion behind it. Every emotion, aside from fear to love, emotion is energy in motion, and it alters and changes matter. I mean, if there was suddenly a loud bang where you are right now, like a loud bang, your body would automatically go like that. It reacts emotionally, and the emotion of fear causes the body to react that way. You know, not everybody does react that way. Some people have mastered their fear to such an extent that they'll hear a loud bang, but they won't react with fear. They'll just react with curiosity. Those are the four foremost beings that I can think of, and plus the beings that have talked through me about this subject extensively, on that emotion organizes matter. And it's just a simple truth. I mean, it's evidence. You get really excited, your face changes. Get really depressed, your face changes. Get really angry, your face changes. Emotion organizes matter. So again, you can find proof right from your own life, right? But it's a good question. Let's see. One more question I think we got time here from I Am. Does Archangel Michael have a message for me today? He's saying that this one is already implementing the information that she requested. Yeah, so he's saying you're already doing the very thing that you requested the information about. He says you know exactly what that is. I like when they do that. Anyway, I want to say thank you, everybody, for today again. The process of transformation humanity is going through right now, this ascension process, is literally a shift in consciousness and awareness from a lower vibrational state of fear to a higher vibrational state of love. And those are just two definitions of something that have a lot of different components to them. But whatever love is a vibration for you, align yourself to that. Let that be the creative force in your physical world. And then extend that out to humanity every day. The 1 billion strong movement, we had specifically about that. Sending out to all of humanity that vibration of love. And look what's happened since we started that. The virus, all this fear stuff has emerged on the planet. All this conspiracy and frightening stuff has come up. All of our fears, which were unconscious, are now conscious. And now we get a chance to continue to remain in that state of love and grace towards it and transform it. Remember, it's just an energy like water. And you can change one vibrational energy with another vibrational energy at a higher frequency. So please remember that. You have the ability to do all of that right now, right here. Oh, you're welcome, Reflection. I know that Akasha is asking a question, but she hasn't. Remember, when you want to ask a question, you put the word question before your question, so I know. I can pick it out of my peripheral and see that you're asking a question. Also, if you want to prioritize a question during these live events, please use the super chat, which is the dollar symbol to the right of the sign. And for a small donation of $1, you can get your question prioritized or more. You can get your question prioritized. But they're saying I need to answer this question for Akasha. The high frequencies in my head are super intense. I'm compelled to fast now and limit social media, reading more, and lots of toning. Much love to all, much appreciation for all. And there's a lot of people that are doing this now that are withdrawing inwardly to repose themselves and realign themselves to that inner power. But that inner power is really reflected around you, wherever you are in this world, whatever you're doing. The world that you perceive from your perspective is the world that's within you. And when you start tinkering around with what's going on inside you from an emotional perspective, you'll start to see the world once you start to gain the knowing that what you're doing energetically, emotionally within you alters what is around you. As you come to the knowing of that, not the theory of that. Many of you are still in the process of it's a theory. It sounds true, but you don't really know yet. But when you go from the theory to the knowing, then the knowing will take you to a whole other level of being. And in that state, and then you come into a level of what's called divine responsibility, where you start to know you are creating and altering time, space, and matter by the quality of energy that you engage yourself in as an individual consciousness. And then you begin to see how that works around you. It gets really exciting too. Oh, you're very welcome, Akasha. That is so important. Yes, it is. So yeah, and if you want to support my work, please become a Patreon. Go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/William Michael Forbes. You can support my work there. You can also learn how to channel and connect your guides and angels. We have our courses and classes coming up September 5th is when we start. You can go to my website, WilliamMichaelForbes.com, and get all the information on the courses and classes that are starting then. And go register today. Get involved. Be prepared. There's a lot of changes coming in the collective consciousness of humanity and the collective unconsciousness of humanity. And we can be participating, or we can be going along for the ride. I prefer to be a creator than just being pulled along by everything else. We are here to manifest creative potential. as living experience. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming by today, and I will see you tomorrow on Supernatural Saturday. The meditation is going to be very exciting about what we're going to anchor in for the coming week. Again, much love to everybody. Thank you, and bye for now. Enjoy your day.